Thought I'd try taking a few videos of the process of making this. I can't videotape the whole thing because I am simply not that talented. But this is what it looks like today. And these are all different mountains I've made in previous years. Actually, most of them last year. And I don't mind covering them. I'm going to cover them with all of that paper, which is from Amazon packages. So we're using that to make one big mountain. And then I have other mountains that I really, really like the look of them. I spent a lot of time on them and I want to be able to just use them as is. So I won't be covering them with paper. So they will have to be over here somewhere. This will probably also have buildings and homes on it. This is a storage thing that I made several years ago for my craft room and workout room. And I put different things in there now for storage solutions. And I'm probably actually, when I'm done with Christmas, gonna take that apart and most likely use it in the van because I'm also building out a van. So here's where I am on, it's like September 22nd, 2024. Who knows what it'll look like by, it should be done in no later than the beginning of November. See you later. Well, as you can see, I've changed it around a bit. What I'm hoping to accomplish is a seaport. If you've ever watched Doc Martin on any of the Brit channels or Roku or wherever you can find it, they live in a seaport town, which is kind of mountainous, and then it has this beautiful inlet bay kind of thing. That's what I'm going for. So one of the things I wanted to point out are these little egg crate type things that I have. I got those from a very good friend who is in the IT business, and he was like doing a whole office or business with new computers, and these are what the computers were packed in. And he was kind enough to think of me when it was time to get rid of them, and he gave me just stacks and stacks of them. And I did use some last year to build some of these mountains that you see here. And even over there, you can see underneath there, where's my finger? My finger is somewhere here. There we go. Right there. So they have come in quite handy. So thank you, Herb, and his lovely wife, Nora, who is a very, very good friend of mine. But that's my goal here. This is going to be a monumental task to tie all this stuff together into one mountainous region. And even more than that, I want it to tie to this part of the village. So to get them to tie together, I need this then to flow down the other side of the mountain and into this side of the village. So again, monumental task, but you know, I'm retired. I've got nothing better else to do. So here we go. See you later. Okay, take a good look at it because it's gray and it will not be this shape when I'm done. I've ordered some polyfill that I'm hoping to use to round and smooth the corners, and I also want it to be brown with some green grass. So all right, we're making some progress. I do have plaster of Paris strips coming, but I definitely like how this looks like one big mountain now compared to all the individual pieces. So right now, that's just the paper. And what I have to decide is, do I put plaster of Paris over it? Because I think that looks really good as a mountain. I would have to paint it because I don't like the color. So I'm gonna have to fool around with that. So I'm still working over here to smooth all this out into one mountainous range. Still working there. I had to stop because I am fortunate enough to have a glue gun that is battery operated, but it does, because of the heat it generates, it does go through those batteries quickly. So I'm recharging it right now. So in case you're curious, I use the DeWalt batteries, but this is not a DeWalt. But you can see it takes the same battery as a DeWalt. But this is a Mellif, M-E-L-L-I-F. Not a MILF, but you might out of the gutter. Okay. So that's where we're at right now. And then over here, nothing's changed. It's still not being built yet. All right. Just trying to step back because I know sometimes if you don't have a perspective of it being further away, it's harder to imagine. So I'm stepping over the couch. This couch will get pushed like way back this way so that I can build this all the way out. And then over here, the walkway will be from, that's the kitchen, will come this way. And then it'll be literally right where the couch is right now. And see my beautiful baby. Shiloh, say hello. No, Shiloh's sleeping. Anyway, that's the perspective of how much space it takes up. That is my dining room with the built-in nook, window to outside. And then over here is piano. I actually have 2 tables in here because I use this table as a craft table. I do my crafts in here. And front door. And then that piece, which I probably will also use. That's where we're at now. Okay, here we are, several days later, October 5th. And almost done with the mountain. But then we have these low-lying areas. That's what I'm working on right now, is this right here. So where you see these sharp edges, I will disguise that in one way or another. Although sometimes in land you see sharp edges like that. So I might leave a little bit here and there. But like right there where it looks really sharp, I will disguise that probably with landscaping. Well, no, most definitely with landscaping, not probably. So I have not figured out yet exactly what's happening when I push this table together. I have to go one step at a time because my brain can't see that far in the future. You know, my first thing was I knew I wanted these mountains to look like one. And so that was my first thing to solve. And although it looks rough now, when it's done, it'll look good. So this is where I'm at. Long way still to go. Long way to go. And over here, nothing. Haven't done anything over here yet. This is a whole nother part of the village. We'll see you later. Okay, so I'm gonna try and work and do this at the same time. And this is really just for anyone else who is looking at different ways, because believe me, this is not only not necessarily the best way, and it is certainly not the only way. It just happens to be the way I'm doing it this time. I've made mountains many years, and I make them different every time. So with this one, again, I had those egg crate things underneath, then I had paper, then I had plaster, and now I'm putting in sculptor mold. And I'm literally, and this is just why I'm filming this, I am literally just smearing it on. So when you get up close and personal to these things, you can see the weave of the plaster, and I don't like that. I mean, it probably wouldn't show up in the camera from far away, so I'm literally just smearing it on to get rid of the weave, and it'll make the mountains also look, you know, a little rougher like mountains do. I already had this sculptor mold on hand. I bought a pretty good sized box of it a while back. Can't remember if it was last year or the year before. So I figured, you know, instead of trying to hide those things with thick layers of paint, why not? So I'm going in here and getting this one a little more wet because it's really clumpy. And I'm just literally smushing it on. There's really next to no getting stuff wet, breaking it up because it does get clumpy. So I'm breaking it up. And let's see, we're gonna go attack this little area right here. I'm not a YouTuber, so I get what they're saying, that it's kind of hard sometimes to film when you're trying to work on something like I am, but you're looking through the camera. See, now you can already see how it gives it kind of a rough texture, and how on film it looks way better on the camera than it does in person. But most people will see this on my YouTube channel through a camera, not in person. So that works just fine for me. Get a little bit more up here. Okay, that's all I'm gonna film because it's really hard to do it in film, but I just wanted to show you what I was doing in case you are interested. So another thing I just wanted to show real quick is you can mix the Sculpt the Mold with paint, just regular craft paint. This particular one is the Folk Art brand, but I also use the Apple brand a lot. And you just mix it with your water and your paint, and that way when you put it on, it already has some color and you don't have to use quite so much paint or worry about white showing through when you come back to paint it. So yeah, this is a lot of levels of work to get these mountains. We'll see if in the end I think it's worth it. Well, this is still all the same video as I think day 5, October 5th. Including when I was showing you how to put the stuff on and how to put the paint in, Sculpt the Mold and all that. So I got actually quite a bit done today. And this is pretty much it. What's gonna go on these tops, and that's why I haven't finished them off, is the styrofoam here. And then on top of the styrofoam, I want green mountain tops. So I'm gonna be using this polyfill, and there are, as there are with everything in village making, there are lots of ways to finish the polyfill to make it look like grass. So I'm gonna have to work on that a little bit before I decide which method to use. I have all the different ways of doing it, so I'll explain that when I actually do it. But one of the things I did want to say, because I have looked at so many YouTubers doing this, Christmas Village people, model train people, war games people, anybody who makes terrain I've looked at. And one of the things I just wanted to comment, in case that's you right now checking out YouTube videos and you come across this, which would be unlucky probably. Well, not unlucky, that's not what I mean to say. It would be unlikely because I don't have a big YouTube following. I really do this just so I can share it with my friends who don't live near me. But because I have done this before, the biggest thing I can say is make sure like you're getting your lights in. Like these lights, which are going to be for buildings in this area, I had to put them in here, and in under there is a strip, you know, to plug in. And then right here is for these kind of lights with the USB port. And then, you know, this one, I put everything in through there. That one is the same one going that way. And then those over there are going through a little hole right there. So it's really easy to spend all this time and energy putting some really beautiful terrain together and then forgetting to make the holes and stuff for lights. And then that's a little bit of a nightmare. Then you got to go poking holes through it. So anyway, this is where I'm at now. And as I said, the next step, I think, you never know with me, I might change my mind, but I think is to work on these tops, which is what I just showed you with the polyfill and the styrofoam. So we'll see. As of today, it's October 5th. I've worked a little bit on it every day since whatever that first day on the video was. except one day I went to Phoenix because on top of all of this and building out a van, and making junk journals, I also have a booth and a case in an antique mall up in Phoenix, and I am down south in Yuma. So I tend to be a little back and forth on things. So I might miss a day or two as I'm working on other things. But for the most part, I've worked every day on this. All right, see you later. So as you can see, it has dried pretty light. Still better than white because it'll make the painting easier. Now when I paint this, I do not use just solid paint. This looks very white on film, but it's more of a very light mocha colored. See if I can get a, wow, it looks so white. It really doesn't look that way in real life. In real life, it's almost a beigey pink, like really light, but it does have color. Like you can see this is darker. That's more like a dark beigey pink. It was actually brown, but it's coming off as pink. So what I do is I water it down. You don't want solid paint. Solid paint is just gonna look thick and not very realistic. If you remember what it looked like before, well here, there's still some over here. It's gonna end up looking more like that, which is what you want. You don't want a solid paint looking thing. Today is the end of October 6th, which I think is also day 6 of videoing. And I have finished the painting. And I have started with the grass. That's just the beginning. It will look a little different by the time I'm done. But I wanted to give you a close-up of the mountains so you at least can see what they look like on camera. You can see the difference of just paint because this is paper with solid paint on it, although it may have been watered a little down, but pretty thick paint versus the rest of this when you mix it with water and you get a more, I don't know if you'd say striated effect, but you definitely get a different effect. Now I can see right there, I need to fix that. I hadn't caught that yet. Needs to have different colors put on it. And then under all of this is where a few buildings will go. And so now that you can see this, it's going to be sand up to about the end of the table. And that will be the beach when the tide is out. So it may have some boats like stranded there that, you know, you can't get in until the tide comes in. Now you might be saying, oh, people don't do that. But again, I'm basing this on this English village that is a real place. And that's exactly what they do with their boats. But then I think maybe I'll have a little bit of sand around here. Haven't decided yet. I guess it depends how deep in theory the water would be. But then over here, this piece, which is an old hilly mountain thing I made tons ago, it has, what I like about it is it has a kind of like road or hiking path down to the beach. That will go at the end of this, and then that's going to come out and be water. And again, exactly how far or how wide the water is going to be, like, you know, out to where, I'm not sure. I do have a number of boats, so it'd be nice to have a fairly large size water, but you're also losing a lot of space to put people and buildings and things like that. So I would like to get at least 30 buildings in this whole section. That would be my goal. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Okay, transparency. This is my third try. Got interrupted on my first. Had a disaster with my glue gun over here, trying to show you an example of this because the glue is not hot, on the second. And now this is my third. So I'm gonna try and make this fast. I really just wanted to show you what it's looking like with the greenery. And I did want to acknowledge that some of the greenery I've made, and some of it is the Woodland Scenics clump foliage. I always say that, foliage. Clump foliage. I have ordered 3 more bags of this in the medium, light, and dark greens because I'm gonna need so much. I don't wanna have to make all of my own, but it's not cheap. 3 of those bags is gonna be about $35. So definitely not cheap. I can hear some of you going, whoa, yeah. That's why I can't do the whole village with that. It would cost me literally hundreds of dollars. So you have to come up with some other way. Plus I have a lot of bushes and stuff I have in trees that haven't even come out yet. And some of that will be used too to fill all this in. But I just wanted to show you where we're at. So when I made my own stuff, if you found this video because you're making your own and you kind of want to know what's going on, I don't normally do teaching videos and things like that. I normally just put my village up and that's it. But I have this piece of green, kind of like an olive green foam. I just happen to have this in my storage shed. I've had it in there forever. Who knows what it came out of? Probably some old pillow form or something. I don't know. I've had it a long time. Anyhow, I've just been like either cutting this up or tearing it off. And at first, the pieces were kind of big. So when you get the bushes, some of them are kind of big like that. Whereas this is what, yeah, see the difference? From a camera far away, it's not so bad, but up close, wow, you can really see the difference. So, but even from standing back where my viewers who come live to see it, they won't be able to see it up close enough. They'll be back here. But I took some of it, ripped it up. I used the ripping method, and then I put it in a blender and I blended it. Now, I'm gonna try, I think, to blend it more to see if I can get it more like that. That's the scenic. Because right now it looks like this, which I can see you thinking, well, that doesn't look good at all. But again, learning all kinds of things about my phone, things that make the video stop that I didn't even know. So anyway, that's where I'm at. Oh, and how do I color it? Actually, I put it in the hot glue. And then I take bunches of the foam and just kind of stick it in there. You gotta be really careful. Sometimes I'll use a little plastic glove like this or something because you don't want to burn yourself, which I've done a couple times. I don't know how easy it is to really see that. There you can see it. Well, this is, I'm sure, dry. It dries really fast. So this is what it looks like. So I just lay out some glue and just stick these in there. Then I hit it with hairspray. Then I put what they sell as like the grass, the fine turf. Sorry, the fine turf. This one is called weeds. Who knows what that one's called because there's a tag over it. This one is green grass. It's all Woodland Scenics. You know, I don't even know if there's an S on scenic. Let's look. Let's get it accurate here. Woodland Scenics, there is. And I just sprinkle it over there, let it set for a few minutes, and then I dump it. I dump it like you just saw me do. This drives me a little crazy when I work with glue guns, the non-stop threads of glue. And sometimes usually I'll put hairspray on top of it again when I'm done, just to seal whatever I put in there in. There is a lot of stand back and let things dry time when you make scenes like this. But anyhow, that's where we are now. Thanks for watching. See you later. I figured it was time to close up the building part of this village. I'm probably not going to do anymore, but I thought I at least owed you the more or less final look at what it ends up looking like. I'll always do a ton of tweaking, and actually the people are not all in it yet, so it's not by any stretch done. There'll be more Like this kind of stuff needs to be finished off. I'll probably put bushes along there. I'll probably put something in there, even if it's just some fallen earth, some like, you know, like, I don't know, old mesquite tree leaves from outside, something like that. Earthy things to put in there. But I just wanted to show you. Now, I made this house. I think it was at the beginning of the pandemic when I was really bored. I made that house and I made that house. So those are homemade. Those are not like Limax or Department 56. Yes, I know I have two lighthouses right next to each other. Such is the way of the weird world of the miniature. I don't really go for completely realistic because if I did, I'd have to have roads everywhere. And I've yet to figure out at this scale how to fit roads in everywhere. It's just, you'd need just an enormous, and I already have a pretty big area. I commit to this, but I'd need an even bigger area. This is not finished yet. This still needs a little bit of something, maybe people, maybe more plants. I'll see as I go, as I take out all my plants and things. I'll see what I think might fit there. I did a little picture of a tunnel. I don't really know if you can see it back there. And it looks like it opens, you know, far in the back, maybe 100 feet or yards or something, to another opening, just to give an idea of how people would get here. And I did make a little walkway road type structure there. But basically, that is more or less the finishing touches. Now, I still haven't done anything over here, and I'm not going to probably film this part of what I do. And I actually don't have a plan for over here yet. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. But as you can see, that's half again. It doesn't really, you can't really tell in pictures how large that is. That's a table that would seat 6. And I've got room on the sides and in the back to add more tables, or to push this one back but add more tables. I build up all over the piano. So there's still quite a bit of space. Easily, again, the size of this. So I'm gonna move way back so you can kind of see the scale of it. I've pushed the couch back now. Trying to get away from that lamp. There's a lamp right there that's giving me a lot of light we don't need. So anyway, I just figured, you know, if you stayed this far, you deserved a peek at the end. I still am gonna make this side so that it comes down. What I really want to build, and have always wanted to build, is more of a rolling hill scenario. The issue is that these houses are big. Like if I was using railroad model size houses, I could build a lot more of what I envision in my head. But these buildings are fairly good size and just need a lot more space. So we'll see. But thanks for joining me on this little journey of making my 2024 Christmas village. Merry Christmas and happy 2025.